it's funny and it's great all at the same time. Getting comments on TikTok.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm just glad they watched and commented because I watch goofballs every Saturday sit up and do bad takes, and they get paid millions of dollars.
Quite literally, yes, right.
There's a guy on ESPN who has a show for like 4 hours of call-ins and gives terrible takes. So, but now, while the Georgia-Texas take was a bad one, I will admit, like if you listen to the whole show, the Ahmad Hardy take was dead nuts on the money.
Right, yes.
So, while I do get them wrong, I will admit, also sometimes we get them right. So,
well, that's not fun because it's more fun to rip on you. And this is Health We Know podcast. We're going to jump right in. That's Chris. I'm Brian. I was out of town for the weekend. I was at Chicago for the Michigan Northwestern game. So Chris did a solo show on, I guess it was Thursday or Friday, Thursday. Yeah.
Thursday.
And did his picks. And, he had a quite the pick, saying Texas is going to hang in there. Georgia, they got a chance, et cetera, et cetera. And boy, did the Georgia fans on TikTok let him know that he was wrong.
Hey, and that game was 14-10 in the fourth quarter.
Yes, it was.
So
yes, it was.
Just saying.
They took, one guy had a picture of Arch Manning like with his head down with the score 35-10. That was my favorite one.
Yeah, that was a good one. The quite a few don't quit your day jobs and all that, which obviously I did not quit my day job.
No, right, no, exactly, right. Yeah, so we can pick wrong with the best of them. Put us on, pick your podcast, pick your ESPN, Fox, whatever it is. We could match up with anybody and do just as bad. Perhaps even worse, perhaps better. I don't know. But about the same.
Right. We're not going to be no worse off. And we'll talk about our gambling, not our gambling picks, which were 5-1, but we'll talk about our over-under money line picks and all that too.
Okay.
Because while we did make mucho dinero for people last week, we lost mucho dinero this week. So foreshadowing.
It all evens out, doesn't it?
Way. It does. It sure does. It always seems to.
Or even Steven. That was a great Seinfeld. Lost $20, found $20 in his coat pocket. Oh, okay. Well, we should probably get into the games from this last weekend. We how many games were there? 8 games that we
did 8 this week as far as our picks. We did
picks
8.
On, yeah. So
but we don't have to
go through all. Yeah. Well, so there's some of them just like there's not a lot to go through, obviously, right? Oregon takes care of Minnesota, what isn't real surprising. I will say Clemson beating Louisville, I didn't get that one right. I had Louisville winning that game, and I think the spread was 2.5. So Louisville just completely said you don't want to even participate in the postseason other than the Duke Mayo Bowl or whatever they're going to be playing. Probably playing in Lexington or something.
Right.
We're playing a game at the whatever the closest distillery there. So not much to say about that one. It's Ohio State handles UCLA.
The only thing on the still never the Clemson Louisville game. That was a comedy of errors by Louisville to lose that too.
I didn't get any of that game. Yeah,
they had a fumbled snap or something that set Clemson up, and just some weird stuff happened with turnovers. Both teams were a combined 3 of 24 on third down during that game. So just miserable to watch. And then and this one surprised me. I was looking at today. Louisville has 3 losses on the year, combined 7 points. All 3 losses.
Boy. Okay.
So Jeff Brom just goes to show you there's the margin of error is not real thick.
No, and he's a guy that, while probably is not likely to leave Louisville, if they had a real big season, his name would be in the hat with some of these bigger games, or bigger schools, I should say. I don't know if that's still going to be the case now after losing like that. But if they look at big picture, obviously he did as well as anyone could do at Purdue, and now he's doing pretty well at Louisville, despite the loss to a pretty poor Clemson team. But 7 points combined. So I gather this game was not a defensive battle any more than it was just a bunch
Two
of
teams that
ugly
just
football.
yes, yeah, correct. And then on the on the solo thing, I was talking about how how Dabo kind of didn't necessarily need it, but it kind of solidified Dabo for next year because he can get this
Sure.
win, and then if he wins out, he'll get to what 7 wins, 8 wins, whatever it
7-5,
is.
7,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then maybe
Well, I think
8
it's
with bowl,
before bowl. Yeah, yeah,
right? And
yeah,
then can say,
exactly.
look, we turned it around in the year, and kind of make his own case for staying there.
Right,
So we'll see.
right. Which he's not on the hot seat any more than
No.
Brian Day is, honestly. Um, yeah, okay. So Ohio State just throttles UCLA. Not terribly surprising, especially since Nico
Nicholas
didn't even play.
UCLA.
Yeah,
He
that
laid out
was
of that
not
game.
surprising. Yeah.
Business decision.
Just very much so. Wise. Indiana, Wisconsin hangs in there for a while at the half, and then Indiana just has too much talent, and Wisconsin can't move the ball, and they're playing a freshman quarterback. So that was the end game there. So, it's with Indiana, it's worth mentioning, I guess. There's been several games where they're just kind of like, they're in a battle for a good chunk of the game, whether it's a half or 3/4 of a game, or that Iowa game they were down, or the Penn State game where they had to make one of the best catches you've ever seen in your life to win that game. Um, and their O-line being banged up, they do seem a little more vulnerable than they did, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. So I don't know if that's going to continue to be a problem because they don't have much to play with until like the Big Ten title game, where it's probably likely Ohio State is the most likely option. So we'll see if they can cruise into that and get healthy and see how they do. But they have some vulnerabilities, but then they have the ability to really turn it on and put it to people.
So I guess my question is, how does now this is, what ifs, but
Right.
what if how much does the outlook on Indiana's season this year change if they win 12 games, Ohio State beats them, maybe even kicks their ass in the Big Ten championship, and then they either have to travel or host a first round playoff game and wind up dropping that. Let's say they lose to Ohio State and they get to host a game, but they have to host Bama or Oklahoma,
Jesus.
and they
That
drop that game. How does that change the narrative on their whole season? Just the ending like that.
The simple thing is, well, they didn't play anybody worth a damn until the end of the year, and then they got their teeth kicked in or they got beat, which is not completely true because they did go to Oregon and win, which is tough to do. But then, what's their next biggest win? At
Right.
Iowa, which is a tough place to play, but that's at least a 3-loss Iowa team too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that narrative will be like, well, this is Indiana. They have a great regular season when they can beat up Minnesota and Wisconsin, and once they get to the big time games, the Big Ten title game or the playoff games, then they get pushed around.
That Oregon win is way in the rearview mirror if that happens too, huh? Because that's a
Yes, it
hell of a
is.
win when it happened, and everyone's like singing their praises, and they've just not been the same since then. Seems like
No,
they've
right,
been. I mean, they
absolutely.
beat the crap out of some bad teams, and then they're kind of sputtering here toward the end of the season, and then you run into Ohio State, and you're going to run into a good team in the playoff. It's just,
Whoever it may be. Yep.
yep,
Hmm.
it's out there. So
Yeah. I think that's something that we'll have to kind of watch unfold because that's the story of what last year was like. Clearly they're well coached. Clearly they have talent. They can out scheme guys. They do. I think biggest thing is that they have great defensive linemen, which can paper over a lot of trouble spots. So yeah, we'll see. I just feel they're a little more vulnerable than they looked 6 weeks ago,
agreed.
as a general rule. So, boy, this game was almost a problem for A&M, and let's say it was a problem until at halftime. Down 30-3 at halftime, and A&M just looked like they never played football before. Like, what the hell happened? And then Next thing you know, I'm following along here and there. I'm like, what's up? It's all right, down. They're only down a touchdown. Then they go up. And I guess that's just South Carolina being South Carolina.
That's
And
right.
A&M just finally showing up, which is, weird because it was at home too. And a good thing that wasn't on the road. That might have been tougher win. And then that was the end of road for South Carolina's coach, whose name's escaping me right now.
Shane Beamer.
Shane DeBeer. Yeah. That's in the road there.
His bad luck, man. At halftime, he's pumping up the South Carolina crowd going into the tunnel, like, yeah, we're kicking the shit out of them. Go Cox! Yeah, you can't beat these Cox.
No,
actually,
you can. They throw up 2 goose eggs in the third and fourth quarter and outscored 28-0, and that's the rest is history.
And it should have been 35-0 if you watched the game. I'm guessing you probably didn't, right? You were at the game, so you were at the
exactly.
Game,
I only
right?
saw bits of it. Yep, exactly.
But they went 28, and it was 31-30. Yeah, 30. I think it was 31-30, something like that. And they had the ball on the 3-yard line of South Carolina. They're in the game, getting ready to ice it, and they run one of the dumbest damn plays. You're at the 3-yard line. They've been running the ball and everything, and they do a fake handoff, and then Reed gets pressure. Instead of just taking the sack or whatever, he throws it backwards. His receiver can't handle it. South Carolina recovers. They're lucky he just recovered the ball and didn't pick it up and run it 90 yards for a touchdown to win it. He just fell on the ball, and then they get the ball back to try to win it, and of course they don't win it. But that could have been disastrous, sure. And all because you just decided to get. Why are teams getting cute inside a 2 or 3 yard line? It's like a thing this year.
It's they get too. You get bored with success sometimes. These guys do, and they want to try to be balanced. They want to try to get teams on their toes and on their heels, and you end up outsmarting yourself, and you're not running that play very often, probably in practice. So
no,
it's a if you nail it, it looks fun and cool, and you nailed it. If you don't, you're an asshole. And right. What are you doing with that call? And so just stick to running, outside zone, whatever your best plays are. Don't get cute.
And I don't understand that either, because you run a play with way more degree of difficulty than you need to run. Mm-hmm. And with degrees of difficulty of plays come possible mistakes.
Yes.
And I just don't get it. One
the
cool
risk benefit's not worth it.
No, absolutely not. So one cool stat I've seen, and this is unbelievable. There have been 287 games since 2004 in the SEC where one SEC team or the other has trailed by 26 points or more. 287. Okay. The record for those teams are 1 and 286. I don't have to tell you what the 1 is.
We just discussed it. Wow. Wow.
So,
jeez. That's if you're a South Carolina fan, you're like, whatever.
I'm done with Beamer. Yeah,
this isn't baseball season yet.
Yeah.
It was a nice time for a minute, but yeah, that's all. That's over now. Anything else on that game? Any other nuggets? That's quite the nugget you just dropped.
Yeah, 4 turnovers for A&M. Reed had 3 of them. He had 2 interceptions and a fumble return for a touchdown. And and all that game, as crazy as it was, as bananas as it was, the star of the show is the Texas State Trooper that decided he was going to get physical
with Nick Harper.
Nick fucking Harper, man.
Harper's
what are you
big monster.
doing? Yeah, what are you doing? I mean, he wrote his utmost route when he went up to that tunnel. Like, he did that. There's no doubt in my mind he did that on purpose for some reason.
Absolutely.
He could have stood to the side, let those players come up, then went up the tunnel. That's all you had to do. And he just marched that tunnel and and they wound up kidding. They said Texas State Troopers put out a statement not long after, like, we've relieved him of duties at the game, so they said him just go home. So who knows what happens past that, and
right.
What are you doing? I mean, he's clearly an A&M fan. Clearly.
Yes. Clearly. So, yes. Right.
I get being pissed off about watching your team getting their asses kicked, for the first, 2/3 of the game, but you can't do. You're a state trooper, man. You can't do that.
Right.
So,
Plus, you missed the second half, asshole. You missed the comeback.
Yeah, right. So it make matters worse. He gets to see the comeback.
Right,
So
exactly.
just so much wrong with that.
You had to listen on the radio. All right, Oklahoma comes up with a huge win in Bammerland. Only they could do that, right? Georgia. Well, actually, Bama went to Georgia. That's a tough place to win, as you know, and most teams know. I was surprised by this that Oklahoma was able to put together enough offense to win this game. I suppose if you hold the defense, hold them to 3 touchdowns, your offense should be able to get 22, 23 points, right? That's generally speaking how things should go in college football. Yeah, tell me. You obviously watched more of this game than I was able to.
Oh yeah,
Tell me
watched a lot of this one.
your opinion. What's your thought about this? Thoughts about this
Well,
one?
one I could tell you is, man, I wish OU had only scored 23 last week or a couple weeks ago. We were winners then.
Yes,
Bama turned the ball over too. I mean, they had 3 turnovers, resulted in 10 points for Oklahoma. That's Oklahoma football this year.
that's
They're
very
they are
opportunistic.
they're up to right. They play they're not so much complimentary because their offense is okay. They have material.
It's fine. They
They
can't
run
run
the
the
ball.
ball. I mean,
They run the ball for 74 yards. They can't really run.
no.
Mateer just does enough to get things done. They need short fields to score consistently, and they got them. Simpson had an interception, a couple of fumbles. They just, one was a pick six, so he was responsible for 7
Mm-hmm.
points all on his own.
Right.
And they just, they just come in there. They have a knack for making the game kind of ugly. They just,
Yes.
like Iowa does, but they're more athletic and better players than Iowa. But they play the same game of we're gonna play suffocating defense. We're gonna cause turnovers. We're gonna try to get this, get short fields for the offense, and then they're gonna run it. They're gonna throw it when they can or when they get a chance to, I guess. And then they just score when you don't think they're just when you think they're out and they shouldn't win. They hang around and they battle, and they're a tough, hard nosed team. And that game, likely because they got LSU and Missouri left, that game probably they're going to be in the playoff. They'll be. I mean, it'd be interesting to see where they put them. I don't know. They host. We'll see what else happens in all the land, but they're probably going to travel. And if you're a hosting team, you don't want to see Oklahoma coming to town.
No.
And that would be a nightmare scenario, like we talked about earlier. That'd be a nightmare scenario for someone like Indiana, where you play that, then you got to host an Oklahoma team that is just great defense, hard nosed, and they made life miserable for Simpson. They got after him, took advantage of the offensive line for Alabama, which just didn't play well at all. And Alabama misses a couple of close field goals. Their field goals not their special teams are not very good, and they just let them hang around, and they stole it. So
yeah,
but I mean, not much else to say. I mean, Bama, but as bad as Bama has been, and even Kalen DeBoer said after the game that he thought they were maybe a little bit sharper in this game than the last couple games on offense, just not sharp enough to get that win. All they got to do is beat a really bad Auburn team, and they still go to the SEC championship game.
Right.
So
right. Which that seems quite likely.
And one last thing on it, Delaney. That Alabama team, if you watch Saturday and the one that's been here a couple weeks before, that's the Bama team that Florida State beats.
State lost.
There's the one. Okay. There's the Alabama.
There's our answer.
We've been asking for early.
Weeks, how did Florida State beat Bama? You found it.
That's how. That's how. That's the Alabama that was there the first of the years. They were Alabama. They were that team at first. They got beat by Florida State. They make a heck of a run, beat Georgia, beat Tennessee. And then they start kind of becoming what they were early. Still can't run the ball. They run for 80 yards.
That's just not.
They can't run it. And if you can control their run game and jam Miller with just the front 6-7 people, and you can cover up Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard, then you're gold. You will get a lot of stops against Alabama. So
right, yeah, and Oklahoma has the front four to be able to do that. Obviously, they did. They took care of things. So huge win. Huge
on
win
third down. Both teams 8 of 26.
Oh,
combined. So
yeah,
turnovers.
Some teams give 5 turnovers, so they somehow win.
it'll be interesting to see. Alabama goes to Atlanta because they'll beat Auburn. They go
Yeah.
to Atlanta. They play A&M, and if A&M, they don't need to lose that game by 30 to A&M because
Mm-mm.
a 10-3, I guess at that time 10-3 Bammer that gets smoked by A&M in the SEC championship game will be biting their nails come selection Sunday or
Right.
Monday whenever they do the selection show for the playoffs
Yeah.
because that, depending on what else happens out there, that
They're
could
going to
spell
need some
trouble.
help.
Yep.
Absolutely.
With a
Right.
lot of 10-2 SEC teams and 11-1 SEC teams, that's a problem.
It is going to be a problem. It is going to be a problem for the committee in particular because this is going to maybe put a scenario out there like, well, you put someone in the championship game and they got beat. So was it worth it? What do we do with these championship games, right? So
Nope.
It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Now, as we said before, these things usually take care of themselves. However, that's a real scenario. Not necessarily that Alabama gets hammered, but gets beat by A&M. I mean, right now A&M's going to be favored on the neutral field.
For
I
sure,
think.
as they should.
I'd pick them straight up. Yeah. So, yeah, that's that Bama. Yeah, that's a really good point. Hadn't thought about that because yeah, you're right. They'll cruise through the next two games to get to title game. Texas. I'll let you speak on this one because you're an expert on this game.
Yes, I seem to be able to get this right now.
Yeah, 10th ranked Texas travels to the hedge between the hedges, 5th ranked Georgia, and well, the final score is 35-10. But I think you're probably saying the score is not really indicative of how close the game was, based on mostly your feelings because of your picks. I'll let you just take it from there. Tell us why. Tell us again why Georgia was not able to pull away from Texas until late.
Well, I don't even know where to start here. So, if you watch the Solo show, I was like, don't be surprised Texas wins this game. The best bet is take Texas money line first half. It was like 10-3 or whatever it was first half, or
14-3.
14-3 first half. Yeah, first half. So, not a lot of good. Don't call me Nostradamus or anything like that when it comes to this. So
right.
But they hung around. They battled. Like it wasn't like Georgia just run them out of the stadium. They stayed ahead of them, and then it's 14-3 at halftime. Texas comes out, they get the ball, they score, make it 14-10, and it's 14-10 for most of the third quarter. And then the fourth quarter starts, and you get Georgia scores, makes it 21-10, and then one of the best calls of the year by Kirby Smart and that coaching staff, going surprise onside.
Yes.
And
unbelievable call.
Let the air straight out of Texas. That did them right in because the defense just gave up a touchdown
face just
drive.
went white.
Yes. Yep. And
he could feel it.
And I said on the preview on the Solo show is Arch has to be. He doesn't have to be Ty Simpson, but he has to be good to go in and get that win.
Yeah.
27-43, 251, one touchdown, one interception. Minus 17 yards rushing. That's not good enough to go in and beat that Georgia team. And once they had that surprise onside and he got the ball back, that was it. They scored 28-10, and then Texas just, we're done. We quit.
Yep.
And that's what they didn't battle. And even Sarkisian said that after the game. Like they didn't respond like I hoped they would respond whenever they got put in adversity. And they did not. They folded up like a lawn chair. So
that was one of the best timed and the best executed onside kicks I've ever seen in my life. When I'm watching this game, I'm like, holy shit, that was perfect. Like it couldn't have been more perfect.
Nope.
And Texas just might as well not even been on the field because they had no idea what the hell's going on. They were not prepared for that at all.
No, and that my bet is that gets scouted week going into it, maybe even farther, back where they look and they see that front line of Texas, those guys retreat or they put their back to the ball or whatever on that side of the field. The coaching staff picked up something that when they line up like this, they tend to do this. And so when they line up like that, you can get an onside kick against them. And my guess is Kirby got the call from up there. Hey, they're lined up like we scouted. If you want to do it, and he makes the call, and man, it works out perfect. And they
went nuts too.
It was crazy. So such a good call.
That's the ultimate. Like we're gonna put our hand on your throat, and we're going to choke the life out of you right now. And that's what you want to see from if you're a Georgia fan, your erection couldn't be bigger after you saw that. I think like that's just
Around
the
into form.
best way to kill someone and put them out of their misery and get ready to celebrate. That was beautiful. Frankly, I never seen a team go out and want to punish someone and finish like that. It's really unusual, frankly. But that's why Kirby Smart gets paid $50 billion a year, or whatever it is.
They're starting to come into form of what everyone thought Georgia
Yeah.
might be this year. They've started. Kirby Smart and that staff has had the whole year to grow this defense and get them to be where they need to be and getting the pieces in
Yep.
place they need to have. So they're starting to play really good defense. And they are in a catbird seat when it comes to ranking and also not having to play in the SEC championship game. Now you talk about double wins. You ain't got to go to Atlanta and play against A&M and risk injury in a game that means Jack Diddley. And because the top four get the bye automatically this year, you get an extra week off to get ready for the first round of the playoffs. And now you only have to win 3 games to win the national championship, where it's 4 if you have to play the first round. So it just all seems to be lining up for Georgia right now. They've now, again, how many times have we seen this? This team is awesome, and then in 2 weeks they go to Georgia Tech to play. Just
give up 70.
Beware, yeah, Haynes King,
right.
Beware,
right.
So
that's gonna be a dog fight, if you will. Yeah, absolutely. What you said isn't false, and it's been true all year. Whether Georgia fans like it or not, this is a slow starting offensive Georgia team. And that was true again on Saturday, right? They put up a couple scores, but against a good Texas defense. But the good thing for them is they have that defense, as you said, that keeps them close and giving the ball back and keeps things within striking distance. And when they get a chance to strike, be able to put teams out of their misery like this. So this is this Georgia team is as good as any in the country right now, from what I've seen on both sides of the ball, because they can play so well together. When the defense is, giving up points, the offense is able to, go 1-to-1 on the touchdowns or field goals. And then the defense typically is not ever, on its heels much. They're able to use all their 5 stars well. And then obviously special teams is very important to them, and they take it seriously, and that helped them win that game.
7 of 8. Yeah, 7 of 8 SEC games this year, Georgia's trailed. They're 6-1 in those 7 games.
Yeah, and they just didn't. The one against Bama, they'd come back, got within 3.
Yep.
In the 24-21
had a chance
final.
To win that game, just couldn't get over the hump.
They sure did, absolutely right. So, and if they played again, I'd take a Georgia. From what I've seen between the two teams, especially if it's on a neutral field. But hell, maybe we'll get that. Who knows what the playoff looks like? So, all right. Well, Texas is, Arch is just a mediocre quarterback as far as I'm concerned. Like he and DJ Lagway made the most 2 overrated quarterbacks we've seen.
Could be. He had drops. Wingo was back, and he was not good.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, they did have 4 or 5 drops that game, the Texas wide receivers. So he didn't get any help. Yeah, that's also fair too. He just made some what are you doing? Like that's not even close. Like you're a junior. You can't be making plays like that. That's you're 22 years old. This is not supposed to be doing this, whatever. So I don't know. Texas Tech beats up on Central Florida. Not surprised there. They just do what you're supposed to do, beat the piss out of people. Now, the next game here, Florida Ole Miss, that game was closer than I anticipated, honestly.
Me too.
A lot closer. Now, I saw, most of the second half of this game. What was Florida doing so well that first half that they were actually right in that game? Actually, they were leading at halftime.
They were getting after Chambliss, and they had 5 sacks in the game. They were getting after him immediately.
Sure.
Yeah, it's almost like we're gonna sell out to get after Chambliss, or we're gonna get big plays against us. And that, for the most part, Ole Miss, they had big plays because they're Ole Miss, but they didn't run them out. And offensively, they were doing just enough to stay on the field. Lagway was 16 of 31 for 218. Yeah, they run for 108
Jeez.
yards. So it wasn't like they were tearing it up, but the Ole Miss defense is not good. And so they were just
Right.
hanging around and just doing enough to stay in it and scoring, and they were just doing a good job getting after Chambliss and throwing him, getting him off his spot. So he couldn't just sit back and be comfortable. He would get back there, and he would almost immediately have to move around. And you get him running left or right or whatever, then as all quarterbacks, your accuracy starts to fade a little bit when you start getting on the run and getting pressure, something that's not designed. So
Right.
yeah, and that's it. I mean, Ole Miss was 5 of 7 on. Well, they Ole Miss had 7 fourth downs. They were 5 of 7.
Good
They went
grief.
for it
That
seven
you went for it on
times.
fourth 7 times.
7 times.
Yeah.
They were 5 of 7. So they
Some
Florida
teams
did a
don't
good
do that a
job.
whole year. Yeah.
I don't this Florida team, man. I can't figure them out. I don't know. We'll talk about in the preview later on in the week. I don't know what we get next Saturday night down there. You don't know what Florida. I hope we get the
Oh,
Kentucky Florida team and
yes,
not the
right.
Texas Florida team.
Right.
Hey,
Or the Ole Miss one, frankly, the first half Ole Miss
right,
one, at least, yeah.
right. And I mean, they had the ball, the chance to go down and try to win that game, and Lightweight threw an interception, and that was it. But and it was on a tip ball. It wasn't like he threw
Right.
it just to an Ole Miss guy. I mean, he was trying to throw it to his guy,
No,
and the
no.
guy, the defensive tips it up, and then they intercept it. But this Florida team's very Jekyll and Hyde. They're 3 and 7, so there's no chance for a bowl game now. What do they have to play for? The
Hmm.
Florida players on defense already come out and said, "Well, we're going to make sure we make it, you know, 11 in a row against Tennessee." So they're already trying to hype it up, or 11 home games in a row rather against Tennessee, and so they're trying to
Right.
hype that up and just something to play for. And
They got
of
something to
course,
look
it's a
forward to, yeah.
7:30 night game. Why can't this
Of
be a
course.
12 o'clock noon?
Yeah, you need a noon kick for this one.
Man, I'll tell you. And so we'll talk about that later. But that's it. I mean,
Yeah,
they
right.
fought their asses off. They really did. If you're a Florida fan, you can your whole season sucks, but you were probably going to always lose that game no matter how well you were playing this year because Ole Miss is
Yeah,
fantastic. You just
right.
that's been the story of your year. You've played well, but you just can't make when it's time to make winning plays. You just don't make them. And
No,
so,
right. They can't seem to put together
mm-mm.
consecutive good plays or good drives, and if it's like 2 steps forward and 20 yards back, and when you do that over and over, you end up being 3 and 7, and firing your coach early in the year. So, um, I guess that part, the pain is over of getting rid of Napier. Now they got to figure out who they're going to have to outbid with the athletic department's full of cheapskates and a little bit of uneasiness. Although, of course, they're going against LSU's even worse, honestly.
Well, and
Um,
there's one. I mean, there's only the one name when it comes to Florida fans. Anything
yes,
other
absolutely,
than the coach they just played against will be seen as a failure by the University of Florida and their fans. That's just
absolutely,
it. It
and
will.
it is
It's
right. Yeah, there's help that Lacey had 224 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. He's a dog,
yeah. They
man.
rushed for 237.
He had a hell of a
The
game.
game, the Florida defense was. I mean, the run defense has not been good. They've give up
No,
225 in like a lot of games this year. There was a number I forget what the number was, but they've given up a lot on the ground. So they can. It's not like there's some juggernaut. They're a good unit. I I would
right,
trade out the Tennessee defense for Florida's defense right now and have no
sure.
problem at all doing it. But
You
they
guys are
just,
undefeated.
yeah, they're just not, they're not good enough, and they don't have an offense. And they've been out there so much this year. That's another thing too. They're
Hmm.
10 games into it now. 10 games, and the defense have played so many more snaps than they should have been playing this year because their offense just can't
That's
stay
right.
on the field, and so they have
Mm-mm.
just they've battled, and it feels like it's starting to wear on them, especially in the front
It's kind of
seven.
wearing you.
Hmm.
Right. Yeah. It's almost good that they have this Tennessee game now and then Florida State because, you have 2 games against rivals. You can get up for that. If they're playing, if they happen to be playing Auburn this weekend or someone else, just who cares? They may really mail it in, but at least they have something to focus on, I guess. If you're a Florida fan, whatever, 5-7 is better than 3-9, I suppose. But um, yeah, because the writing's on the wall anyway. You got to get a new coach. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm just don't. believe Ole Miss will be able to make too much of a run because they can't stop anybody regularly on defense, right? They'll win a track meet. They're going to have to win a track meet, 47-45 kind of game if they're going to win any, go on any sort of run. But
Ole
more
Miss
to
is a
come there. But
team.
obviously, they're
Yeah. Ole Miss is a team that needs a good draw in the playoff to make a run.
Mhm.
That's what they need. If they get run into a team that has a really good defense, they're in trouble because they're going to give up points. So you just if they run into Oklahoma, I'd pick Oklahoma in that game. I would.
Yep. Like Ole Miss, Indiana, that'd be a fun game. First of all, I guess I'd be inclined to take IU. I don't know. Like that's just that front four for Indiana is the difference for me. That's gonna go a long way for me to control Ole Miss somewhat. You're not gonna completely shut down Chambliss and Lacey, but you can slow them down enough where they're not put up 35 on that island or Indiana defense.
Right.
And Indiana's offense can certainly put up 35.
Yeah, on that Ole Miss defense,
too.
they certainly could for sure. Yeah.
Right. Yes, absolutely. So Notre Dame does their thing they're supposed to do is to keep winning. They lost the first couple games of the year to Miami and to I don't know what I'm blanking on. Who else? A&M. Thank you. Yes, A&M. But now they've won 8 straight, beat a solid Pittsburgh team. I wouldn't go to say they're a good team by any means, but beat them good and did what you're supposed to do. And they're sitting like they're going to be like, well, where are you going to send us? We're going to be in the playoff, right? And it's going to be hard to say no. They're playing really good football. Like they're starting to play better this late in the year, and that's going to pay dividends for them. I don't see, unless they just crap the bed the next couple of weeks, that they won't be in the playoff somewhere. They're just playing so well that you'd have a hard time to deny them.
Yeah, 10-2, Notre Dame's getting in, and I don't care what their schedule is. If they could put Notre Dame in that playoff, by God, they're going to be in that playoff. And 10-2 is the mark. If you're 10-2 and you're Notre Dame, and I don't care if you're playing high school teams all year, and the 2 high majors you played, you lost to, they're getting in that playoff. But they're playing really good, like we talked about a couple weeks ago. They seem to be becoming what Marcus Freeman wants them to be now, and they're another team you don't want to see come to town.
No, absolutely not.
That's another team that Indiana don't want to look across the field and see. That's dangerous for them.
We did that once. Once.
Yep.
It's not going to be a good ending, probably.
So you don't want to see them. Oregon don't want to see them. They're a team that if they're on your side on that first weekend, you're like, damn it. Because I think they got the host last year. They'll probably travel this year at 10-2, depending on what else happens.
Probably. Yeah, right.
But I'll tell you what, an 11-1 Ole Miss at home, don't want to see them either.
Hell no. Right. No, you're setting yourself up for failure there. I mean, you're not going to stop Jeremiah Love.
Oh,
first of all. And that's going to be all you need. And CJ Carr's playing well enough. He's making some mistakes here and there, but he's also playing pretty well for a redshirt freshman or whatever, sophomore maybe, I guess he is.
They're going to be a tough out.
Yeah, they're going to be a very tough out because they're going to play defense that they've shown the last several weeks. And, we wrote them off, rightly so, because it's like, well, you lost the first couple of games, but they lost by combined just a few points, and we know A&M's a great team, an elite team. Miami was shown to be a bit of a fraud, but, that's still, you didn't know that at the time, right? Still a tough game to go down there and play. And, Miami's, they got 8-2, so not like a dumpster fire or anything, but they lost to some games that we certainly didn't anticipate. I certainly expected Miami fans didn't anticipate they're going to lose those games. I think if Notre Dame is 10-2, it's just all right. Where we playing at? Not if, it's where. Home or away? Where you send us wherever you want. That's what's going to happen.
I'll take you back real quick. I'll just take you back on another bad take. I picked Arkansas to beat them.
Yes, you did.
I picked Arkansas to win that game when they played Arkansas.
If you think the Texas Georgia pick was a bad one, he did indeed This is he's
I
calling
sure
himself
did.
out. Pick Arkansas to win that game, not the spread. Straight up, he picked
Outright.
Arkansas to beat Notre Dame. So
Save Sam Pittman's job. Taylor Green's going to make
yes,
enough
right. And
plays.
I quite the opposite. That game was done by
Yes,
mid-second
it
quarter,
was.
if I recall
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah, that game didn't last long at all. Yeah.
And Sam Pittman is, whatever, enjoying his pension, whatever his buyout money, whatever. Speaking of which, just briefly, we don't have to talk a lot about it, but James Franklin, if we knew he was going to find this nice landing, and Virginia Tech is maybe the best perfect landing for him, don't you think?
Absolutely. Yeah, with the way he recruits in that whole area, that DMV area, we call it. And for those that don't know,
Yep.
that DMV it's DC and was that Maryland and Virginia, right? That's
Maryland and Virginia, right?
Yeah,
right.
there's so much talent in that area of the country, and he's in Blacksburg. He's right slap in the middle of it. So he could draw from there. He could draw from the Carolinas to the south of him, which is just dripping with talent as well, and over in the Carolinas. And so that is a nice soft landing for James, which we talked about earlier in the year. What you're making $660,000 a month. That's what Penn State's paying you. Why would you?
Yeah.
Why just? But if you're going to go somewhere, that's a nice spot for him. He'll coach there for a long time. I'm betting, and be a headache in the ACC.
100%. Well, yeah, there's two programs, not even the ACC, that hate this because both of them rely heavily on DMV kids. James Franklin recruited the piss out of that to Penn State. A lot of DMV kids went to Penn State. And also Mike Locksley there in Maryland, who has enough trouble keeping those kids home. It's going to be worse now because Virginia Tech has a historically, certainly in the last 25, 30 years, better football program than that's just kind of a sleeping giant, more so than Maryland. So those two teams, coaches alone, hate this tremendously, I'd imagine. So yeah, ACC got a big upgrade in coaching. Now, will that translate to him being better against top 5, top 10, top 25 teams? I don't know. However, if you're Virginia Tech, this is a huge win, I think, for that program, and they needed some injection of life. And they may not beat Clemson every year, but they'll beat everyone else and build 11-1 or whatever. That's how he is. Like, and he'll put you in the dance. You may get stood up at the dance, but you'll be at the dance.
I predict he will win the ACC championship inside 4 years. 4 years or less, James Franklin will win the ACC outright.
Especially with the transfer portal.
Yep.
His ability to recruit that area, transfer portal, he could turn that around within, I'd say, maybe even a couple of years, honestly. That would not be surprising if he's got them competing right away.
For sure. And I can only imagine he did his due diligence before he took that job, and that, hey, you guys are going to have to give me this much in NIL if you want to field a football team that's going to be competitive.
It's going to be serious.
You come up with the money, and then I'll sign the contract and come coach it.
Yeah, I gather those conversations were had. Absolutely. So good on him, I guess, huh? BYU and Utah take care of business. Nothing surprising there. Miami takes care of NC State. Georgia Tech just likes to make their fans have a heart attack every freaking week. And they did so against a really awful Boston College team. They need a late score to go ahead to win that game. And they're 9-1 with smoke and mirrors at this point, honestly. They should have about 3 or 4 more losses probably. And that does not bode well for them when they go up against Georgia, probably. Now, that's obviously a rivalry game, so things can happen. But, they can't stop anybody. And, they have to win every game in a shootout. I just, they're a good football team, but, I don't know that we're going to see them go very far, assuming they get into the playoffs, because they don't have the horses to do that, honestly.
No, and if you're ACC fans and ACC fanatics and ACC media, I think the best thing for the ACC is pray that Miami winds up getting in somehow, and that's your ACC representative, because they got the best chance to go as far as anybody in the ACC is going to go.
Yes,
Georgia Tech will get bounced early. Virginia will get bounced early. Who else on there? Maybe NC State, not NC State because they're 2-4, but there's
Um,
there's 3 or 4 ACC
that's
teams
about
that are,
it.
yeah, they're going to get bounced early. Miami is the only one talented enough to not get to make it a round or two probably. So if you're
Right,
an
right. They
ACC
they
fan,
could compete with.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point. Very good point. Yeah, because they have the talent. I mean, they have a 10-cent coach, but they have $1 million talent
yes,
on both sides of the ball too. So if they put it together, they can be really good. But they just don't do that well game to game and down to
no,
down.
and
That's their
all you
problem.
got to do is win 4 games in a row, and so there's nothing to say that like you said, Miami has the roster to be very dangerous in the playoff if they can get Carson Beck playing like
Yeah.
Carson Beck played earlier in the year. All of a sudden, they're a team that could make a run and make it to the national semifinal or national championship game. I could if you told me Miami's going to make a run in the playoff and Carson Beck's going to play really well and that defense is going to play good and they're going to make it all the way to the semifinal, I wouldn't bet against it.
No. Well, I mean, because six
Depending on the
weeks ago
draw,
or whatever, we were like, Miami's. You could tell me the best team in the country, and we wouldn't
right?
have an argument, right? I mean, they're
Right.
they're playing that well. Now, what happened, I don't know. Is a bit of a fool's gold. Looks like that maybe a little bit, but it's not for lack of talent. And sometimes, you know, uh, mediocre coaching can paper over your good talent, and you don't know. And end up losing the
Yeah.
bad games to teams that you should not lose to. So that's just Mario Cristobal is like the Lloyd Carr of this generation in the ACC. Plenty of talent, but ends up losing games he shouldn't. Um, so Georgia Tech, they survive. Iowa goes out to USC. This is kind of surprising to me. Iowa's up 21-10 at halftime, kind of controlling
Mm-hmm.
that game. Philly special for a touchdown. Pulled all the tricks out of the bag, and then they go over in the third and fourth quarter, and FC puts together a couple touchdowns and wins this game. This looks about right. USC's still controls their own destiny too as far as playoff hopes go. They still have to play Oregon, um, which should be tough. I don't know if I forget where that game is at. That's going to be a bit of a battle there. That's the last game. So that's actually this weekend. Yes, that's this weekend, and then they play UCLA, which they'll
Hammer.
win that one. So that Oregon USC game in Eugene is going to be a good game. Right now I'm looking at it. I think I'd probably go with Oregon to win that, but I don't know, like this because USC is so different on the road, right? If this game was in LA, I might think differently, but they got their work cut out for them though. Michigan
They if
somehow survives. Yes.
if they just real quick and a quick
Yes. Sorry.
question. USC wins that game in Oregon and beats UCLA. They're 10-2.
Yep.
Bama wins out. Well, yeah, they're going to SEC championship game, so they can't be 10-2. I was going to say, which 10-2 are you putting in, Bama or USC? But I don't. That like I said, that'll clear itself up because I mean, Bama's going to go to the SEC championship game, so they're going to either get in automatically if they win it or a 10-3. But
Well, yeah. So 10-3 Bama or 10-2 USC.
I don't know, man.
Someone's going to make that
I
decision.
don't know. Yeah, if you're a Bama fan, you'll be that's poker factor 10 because on selection.
Yes, indeed.
That's especially if you lose by a field goal, you can make the argument.
Yes.
But you go in there and you lose that ball game 35-14 or 35-7, 42, and Reed goes crazy. Then all of a sudden it's like, well, USC did go to Eugene and win. So
right.
ugh.
So here's the deal: USC is then a little help, right? So if USC goes in Eugene and wins, and of course they beat UCLA, they're sitting at 10-2 and 8-1 in the Big Ten, right? Let's say hypothetically that Michigan beats Maryland this weekend and then beats Ohio State. That puts them at 10-2 with one loss as well. Now USC has the head-to-head, so they're going to be in the Big Ten
Right.
championship game. Yes, they would be because they would have the head against Michigan, head-to-head against Oregon. Yep. Oregon have 2 losses.
They play Indiana.
They play
yep.
IU. So that's a possibility. It's not zero. I mean, so if you're a USC fan, this is one of the best seasons you've had in quite some time, and you realistically, with 2 weeks to play, have a shot at a title,
Yep.
Big Ten and national title. And so, if they can put it together, and Maeva could play well enough and keep playing, he's been playing a little bit better this last week, and the defense could just get stops here and there. Like, don't be terrible. give Lemon the ball. They're a dangerous team. Like, I don't know. Like, this USC team. I guess we're gonna know for sure this weekend, right? If they go on to Eugene and win, dude.
And the way Oregon's playing, they could win that game.
Absolutely,
USC could win that game for sure.
Right. Absolutely.
So
yeah, Oregon struggled to put away Wisconsin, for example, a couple weeks ago. I mean, that's they're a different team.
And then Oregon, man, they'd be 10-2. They're definitely in, but they're traveling, and so I could see them ending up in Athens, Georgia. Well, no, Georgia get the bye, so it wouldn't be Athens, Georgia, but they could end up somewhere like probably not Indiana again, but I don't know, end up in Utah or a BYU or
right. That's a lot of these scenarios that will take care of itself probably, but the idea of that all working out is hilarious. It would be fun to see the committee wringing their hands on how we're going to do this. We didn't anticipate this many 10-2 teams or whatever.
Right.
Let's see. So Michigan survives for 5 turnovers and beats Northwestern at the buzzer, a walk-off field goal, which is perfect because it was at Wrigley Field.
Tell us about
walk-off field goal. And yes, the trip was fun. We had a great time. Ate good food, went down to obviously watch the game, and I'd never been to Wrigley before for any event. So this was like a lifetime opportunity for me on my 50th birthday. So, what better way to celebrate it? The venue is beautiful, honestly. Like, it's 100 and whatever year old, but like they've clearly taken good care of it. They've done upgrades. There's like plenty of like leg room. There's plenty of room in the aisles, like to get around. There's seemingly tons of bathrooms and concessions everywhere, and they're all like really, really clean. They have like attendants in the bathrooms keeping it clean. Like, it's really impressive how well they've taken care of this. Like, even the walls on the outside. We were in the upper deck area because we thought when we bought the tickets in July that it was going to be, 30 degrees and snowing potentially. So we thought, let's get under cover at least. Well, it was 65 and a little windy. So we couldn't have picked a better day.
Of course.
And I was like, man, I should have wore shorts. Right. Exactly. So, but like even the walls were like not scuffed up or painted. Like, it looked like a newer stadium or an old one that's just been really well taken care of. So kudos to the Wrigley Field, and the staff they could have been nicer people. Each one, from the beer guy to the guy showing you where your seat is to the bathroom attendant, all of them were just really pleasant, nice, welcoming people. It was a really great experience, but except for the game. Then the game happened, and it was like, I stopped turning the ball over. 5 turnovers, and that's the third one. I'm like, the fourth one, I'm just saying move. And then the 5th turn, I was like, we're going to lose this game. We're going to lose this game. And they did their damnedest to not do that. And then they had an opportunity with a minute left, and they just decided, well, we're going to put our field goal kicker, who has the confidence of Chuck Knobloch throwing the ball to first base, to kick a game winner. Now, thankfully, they were able to get close enough. It was only like a bit of a chip shot, a 30-plus yarder, but and he drilled it out of the stadium, by the way. He nailed that thing.
He kicked like he was kicking from 60.
Also, yes, well, he did kick the one from 60 and missed it. He had plenty of distance, but he missed it left a little bit. So
you put the same leg in that game winner as he did that one.
Range. Yes, he did. That ball's still going, actually. So Michigan survives, and all the Michigan. I mean, no hyperbole. Like, I never heard a final count with the total number of people there were, but it was easily 75% Michigan fans.
That's not
joke.
That's not hard to believe.
At least, and maybe perhaps more. It was a home game. It was when that kick went through the uprights. It was like I was at Michigan Stadium, not the amount of people, but like it was loud. Clearly, Michigan fans outnumbered the Northwestern fans, and it was funny because when that kick went through, everyone started filing out, and I'm just standing there like, I guess we won, and Michigan fans have always got their head down, like, well, we'll survive that one. We can't even look the Northwestern fans in the eyes. Sorry about that. Thanks for your hospitality. So
It
whatever, but
was
you never apologize for a win, right? You never
nope.
apologize for a win. So win's a win. You
That's
figure it
right.
out. You Underwood makes some incredible throws, and particularly one to Marsh on 3rd and 10, that last drive to get them closer to field goal range. They did a lot of great things, right? Underwood had 280 yards, you know, a rushing touchdown. He threw a couple picks. He had a fumble that was his fault. One of the fumble was the coaching. I don't know why you're calling a trick play when you got double A-gap blitzes every other snap. Nevertheless, um, so you saw these flashes of how well they could play. Nick Marsh, the freshman, had 12 catches, 189 yards. That's a freshman record. So like
Big
they
Ten better
have
get
these
used to.
pieces.
They better get used to Underwood to Marsh.
Yes, that's going to be,
It's gonna be a
yes,
lot of that.
regular. Like they find it's funny because the first game of the year, Marsh is running a route. It's like a some sort of a wheel route. I forget exactly what it was, but like he didn't even look back for the balls. If he would have turned his head, caught it, he would have scored a touchdown. He wasn't looking at the ball. He was looking to block someone. Like he had no idea where he's supposed to be, what he was doing. So to go from that the first game to setting freshman records, 10 games later, that's pretty impressive. And we knew this kid has some talent, but like, man, he balled out. Like he made all kinds of catches and catches after and ran, tough catches on the sideline. And like, you're right. That's going to be a lethal connection going forward the next couple of years. Um, Marshall ran the ball well. Like they were able to make some adjustments after halftime, like they usually do. And, ripped off another 65-yard run, scored shortly after that. And then, this, you know, eventually, I don't care how talented you are, freshman quarterback's going to be a freshman quarterback, and this is the freshman quarterback that we saw that typically would lose that game, right? I mean, he's -5 in turnovers. He's not going to win many games. I mean, it's got to be like less than 5% or 1%, perhaps even
Right.
of teams that have won that like that. But the defense did enough to keep him in the game. And short fields. Even with those turnovers, they're able to spit out some 3-and-outs after those turnovers. So did a pretty good job of keeping Northwestern at bay when they had opportunity to score touchdowns or make it really interesting. So yeah, they survived. Win, survive. Got to play Maryland this weekend, and then the game in 2 weeks. So which we'll cover eventually, right? Virginia takes care of Duke. They're doing their part to kind of stay, alive in the playoff hunt, right? And then your Vols, I believe they were favored by 40. Is that right?
That's
Or
correct.
40 and a
Yes.
half. Is it that much? Yeah. And
Yep.
so the only reason I'm saying that because I took the under because or the I took Mexico State to cover, I think,
You did.
because I thought that's a big number. It's a big, big number, right? And so, how did Tennessee look? Obviously, is it more just everyone's pretty healthy, um, or were they didn't seem to be challenged at all? 21-3 at half,
Yeah.
and they just kind of cruise control.
That's it. It was a ho hum game. Just kind of go. Let's go out
Yeah,
here and get this one over with and try to just get out of here. They was they was
sure,
sharp at times on offense. They scored 3 straight touchdowns, so they looked good, and then they just kind of sputtered along and scored and ran it okay. And Aguilar had a couple more interceptions that are just kind of like you didn't do it early in the year. What are you doing now? So
he's
he's
just
same thing
being
against Alabama,
trying to
same
get
thing against
cute.
Oklahoma, yeah, and the same thing when he moves around a little bit, he just kind of flips it, and when he flips it, he throws it high, and he does that. You do that anywhere near the middle of the field, that's interception every time. And the last 3 games, that's kind of been his thing. So hopefully he gets that fixed there before you go to the big game next Saturday night. So we'll see. But yeah,
Yes,
just kind of a workmanlike
yeah,
game for them. Nothing crazy. Just go out there, get it done. I thought they would be in the 50s, so that's why I took Tennessee in the points. I thought they would cover because they are usually in the 50s when they play this kind of team. And if they were
sure,
halfway sharp on offense for 2/3 of the game instead of roughly half of the game, then they probably are. They scored 21 points in the
sure.
first half. That's you know It's just kind of a
On your
ho
way.
hum game, and they scored 20. Yeah,
Right.
and they so they
Right.
just the half the time they were pretty good, and half the time they were just okay. Penalties again, it's just stuff like that. It just they were they
It's
were
just
okay.
sloppy.
They took care of New Mexico State.
Yeah.
That's all that was to it. So
Sure. And they lost a cornerback to transfer portal.
well, Boo Carter left finally. He was a nickel or played the
He's
star,
oh, he's sure.
and he was really
But
good last year as a
that wasn't
freshman.
surprising, I take it.
No, he was great as a
No.
freshman, but and this is another one where his parents or his mom particularly is involved. She made comments over the summer, and he no-showed for a lot of team stuff over the summertime. Just no-showed. And mom's posting on social media about how they said they were going to get him on offense. They didn't do it, and he didn't play enough snaps on defense. And just he's a freshman. You I mean, you got to be very special to come in as a true freshman and play offense and defense to be effective.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
true freshmen they have not earned that right to do it. So you just
They can barely know when to look
yeah,
for the ball,
right,
or
right.
like
And he is
what am I
so
supposed to
athletic.
run? What route am I supposed to run? Where's supposed to be?
He
Right.
could be a superstar as far as defensive secondary, probably at corner, safety, at nickel, star, whatever. He could play any of those positions. He's athletic enough to do it all. It's just between the years. He's just one of those kids, man. You know, you just look at it. He's a local guy. He was in Nashville at a Christian school. Then he came and transferred to Bradley Central, which is in Cleveland, which is about 90 miles from where I'm sitting. So local guy,
Okay.
Mr. Football in the state of Tennessee, #1 recruit a couple of years ago in the state. And you want to see him succeed, and he has all the tools to succeed. He just can't get his head right. So we'll see where he ends up in the portal because he's
Yeah.
already going to hit the portal. He's already said that. He would have already been if the portal for the beginning of the year was a week longer, he had already been gone. He was that close. But he wound up missing the window.
Sure. Okay.
And then they went in, paid him, kept him here, give him every opportunity to stay on the team, had made him do whatever they had to do in the off season or in fall camp. Then he plays a lot. He splits time with Jalen McMurray, who is the other star. And McMurray starts mostly, but as the season goes along, Boo Carter takes more and more steps from McMurray because he's a better football player than McMurray. He just can't put it together, and so he skipped out. They told him, "Hey, listen, you want to have a chance." He kind of hurt himself a little bit, so you have a chance to show up for New Mexico State, be there for your teammates. He no showed. No one knew where he was. Wouldn't respond to the coaches. Nothing. And so Sunday, like, just get the hell out of here, dude. This is clearly not going to work. So he had a chance to be there to support his team,
then he played
and he wouldn't do it.
Jeez, did he play at least 4 games last year?
Oh yeah,
He played at least
sure
4 games. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I mean he played a lot. He played a lot. He's a heck of a punt returner too. That's one thing they'll miss.
Okay.
He's a hell of a punt returner.
So he played all last year and played a good chunk of this year, more than 4 games. So he will have 2 years eligibility somewhere, which, like, if you're going to flake out like this, just play 4 games and leave, or, play less than 4 games and leave.
Well,
like, maintain a year. You just wasted a whole year, like,
here's
that sounds like
the
that's
thing with
not
that.
something he's that forethought.
Yeah. NIL money. That's the reason. Once you transfer out and you're off, NIL money stops. No more checks in the mail.
Yep.
So you could play for it and save a year, but you ain't getting paid jack deal. Once you leave, the payment, there's no more money. They don't pay you like NIL is not paid all up front on a check. It's paid through the year to you and adds up to what you agree to. So the contracts, you got to be on the team for you to get money. There's no, you get to leave and I'm going to pay you. So he played all year half-assed and he had some really good games though too. He had some games that he was fantastic, and he's had some games where he was just poor. But if you leave after 4 games, so does your money. So he stayed all year, he got paid, and he'll be right now where I'm sitting. I'm going to say he is in a Miami uniform next year. Maybe Colorado too. That's another one. Colorado. Somewhere
okay, sure. Deion will fix him up.
Yeah, that type of program seems to be a Boo Carter type program. So
sure. Sure. That's a team that we haven't talked about all
Ole
year
Miss,
or
another one.
coach Dion.
Yeah,
Ole Miss, oh, sure, Ole Miss. Yep, I'll take on. Yeah, Dion. They're a terrible football program right now.
yeah, they
I
are.
don't think Colorado can afford to fire him though. He's owed 45 million or something like that. So I don't think they can afford that. It's not that they're necessarily even thinking about that. But this whole Dion thing has been absolutely silent from what I could tell from any of the news media outside of Boulder. You know, like
Yep.
that story's not interesting anymore. We already done that. They stink. There's not much to
No
talk about.
matter, no matter what
What we do
personality
have,
you are,
yeah,
you still have to win to get attention.
yes, absolutely. Yes. Right. You can't you can stay on the news, can get your toes cut off. That's just gonna be a blurb here and there. So
Right.
it's not gonna be something sustainable. Well, something to share is your wonderful picks, which include the awful Georgia Texas pick. How'd we do? Overall with our picks, and then also the science experiment we're doing.
Sure. Gotcha. So just what I'm going to do with these from now on. And next year, I'm actually going to keep up with these all year long. I've not been keeping up with our overall record on these games. So, but here the last couple, two,
Sure.
3 weeks, I've been picking out 8, 9 games, 7, 8, 9 games per weekend for us to do money line, over unders, and then against the spread. So
Yeah.
recapping, last week you were 17-10. I was 20-7. We did 27 picks over 9 games, three picks a game. This week I did 8 games. So 24 picks for you. And then I only did 21 because I started the solo show in the second quarter of the Louisville Clemson game. And that was one of the games on
Oh,
the.
gotcha. Okay.
So, and like I
That
said
was
on
a
there, it
pick.
wouldn't
Yeah.
really be fair
Yeah.
for me to go in and pick now when it's 3-3 in the second quarter because I'm taking the under right now,
Right.
so it's not really,
Right.
so it wouldn't have been fair for me to
Yeah.
pick it. So I left myself out of that one. Um, this week, you see 24 picks for you. You went 10-14. I had 21
Oof.
picks. I went 10-11. So, um,
Oof.
yeah, that's
Oof.
not a good weekend for us money wise.
Oof.
So not with those
We
picks
get
anyway.
money
So
back to the desert.
we'll tee us up, 8 or 9 more here this weekend and see if we can do better next weekend. But next year we're going to
Yeah.
do it all year because we just started this kind of halfway through the
Yeah.
year,
Less
something like
3. Yeah,
that.
not even. Yeah, last
Yeah, maybe not
quarter of
even.
the season, basically. Yeah. Right.
Right. And so we're going to do that
Yeah.
all year
This
next
is
year. Keep up with the record. Maybe put a little money in there. We'll see.
put a little cheddar here and there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
maybe throw a little bit in
Yes.
there, see what
Absolutely.
happens. Make it more interesting, more
But I
lively.
can't. They
Because
don't allow that to happen in Wisconsin. Now,
mm-mm,
you folks in Tennessee, the degenerates in Tennessee, can do whatever you want with your money.
right,
I,
apparently,
however, am not allowed to do that.
you're a
I'm
bit more
irresponsible.
responsible in the state of
This is true.
Wisconsin. Well, they don't want you spending that money because that's less money they can get you for your tags every year, and you have to fix the roads for winter times.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it's beer
Yep.
and whiskey and road repair, and not necessarily that order either. And salt for the snow.
Right. You can make an argument for any one of those being more important
Salt
than
and
the
sand. Right. If I have beer and whiskey, I don't need to
other. No,
leave the
you don't need to
car. I
drive
don't
on the
need
road.
salt and sand. I'll
Uh,
just stay home. I can work
If you
remote.
need
I can work remote. It's
if
fine.
you need whiskey, you got to drive on the road to get to it, though. So
This
you
is
can make
true.
that argument
Yes.
too. So
That's true. Yeah, it's a cycle, isn't it? Yeah, chicken and the egg, I suppose.
all right. So money picks, our science experiment. So quick
Yeah.
recap: begin the year over the last 5 years, SEC home teams on their home fields win at about a 70% clip. So we put a little money on the line to see if that would hold true and see if you could win any money based on those percentages. We start off with $147. Coming into the weekend, we were 38-24, 61.3%. This weekend we go 5-1. LSU beats
Cool.
Arkansas.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Right?
Well,
Listen,
percentage
pay attention.
wise, yeah, percentage
That's
wise,
right.
maybe
Yeah.
not so much money. So, LSU beats Arkansas, Kentucky beats Tennessee Tech, Ole Miss beats Florida, Georgia beats Texas, Mizzou beats Mississippi State. The only loss we have is OU Bama. Bama drops that game at home. We started with $147. We come into the weekend at minus we come into the weekend with $18.49. So down $124, whatever it was. We go 5-1 this weekend, so we go from $18.49 to a whopping $20.26. So made a little cash this weekend.
We'll chat it, baby.
So year to date we're minus 126.74 for the whole year. So and like we've talked about and I've already made our bets for next week. I've already threw that in there. But and we'll talk about that tomorrow, Wednesday, whenever we do the preview show. But we talked about, it's just, this is not a way to make money. Clearly, it's
no.
The home teams, and this is what we're going to do next year too. We're going to tweak it a little bit. Whereas I'm going to keep up with the home teams, of course, like we're doing this year, but also home underdogs and home favorites, and get those two records, and then see how the season plays out. We're still gonna probably invest a little money, $150, see what happens, just to make it interesting, and keep up with it all year. Keep up percentages of overall home favorites, home underdogs. How do they fare? How does that stack up? And see what happens. But $20.26 preview show. I'll go over the bets for next week. Not a great weekend of games.
No,
a good chance to have a good winning percentage.
In fact.
But yeah.
Yes. Right. There's not enough anyone make any money.
We are, after the 5-1 weekend, we are 43-25. So the winning percentage went from 61.3 to 63.2 with 2 weeks to go.
63.2. All right. It's going to be close, right? I mean, I just hope we can have 70% on the nose and $0, and that's how we win at this point.
Well,
which is probably not likely, but
no,
we'll have a few righteous bucks.
Yeah, and you're going to laugh whenever I tell you what I divided the money up into, because I divided $20.26 all the way down just a few cents for these games this weekend.
My God.
I was doing whole dollar amounts the whole year, because I wasn't going to try to divide it up and get to cents and pennies and all that. No, it's the home stretch. This is like the home. This is after the turn of the Kentucky Derby, heading down the home stretch.
Sure.
Every penny needs to be invested. Every single penny, so we can recoup as much money as possible to try to get back, as close to that one. We're not going to get to 147, but shit, at this point, if we can get to $50, I'd be happy. So
that'd be pretty impressive to get. To double where we're at now.
And one weekend did us in.
We had an opportunity to cheat. Yeah, we had an opportunity to cheat too, because we could have cashed out. South Carolina was beating Bama at the time, and we decided to let science win, and we lost.
Yes, it sure did.
South Carolina's going to South Carolina.
Cheaters never prosper, except when it comes to cashing out early. Yeah.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly. Then we would have. Yes, there is a caveat to everything in life, and that was that one. Right?
That was that one.
If you cheat, sometimes you win. Right? Exactly. That.
I should not even ask you. So I was asking you the whole time. Should I cash this out? And you're like, oh well, that's and then then they score and they go up 8. You're like, well, let it ride, baby. I'm like, okay,
let it ride.
When my gut says no way, and I even texted, no way South Carolina wins this game. Right? Yes. No way. And you're like,
no, of course not.
They go up 8, and you're like,
no.
Idiots.
I saw that just unfold. Like, I'm at a restaurant watching this. I'm like, should have just cashed out, I guess.
You should have cashed out.
God, we'd have came away. We'd have been up nicely, even with some bad losses. We would have been out pretty nice. Well, at that point.
Yeah. No. We wouldn't have.
Well, we end up because the rest the rest of them were.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That wouldn't have helped. It would have helped a little bit, but it would have been a buffer more than anything.
We still needed advantage football to save our asses.
And no one's ever said that. No one ever should ever say it again.
No.
No. All right. Well, I think this concludes this episode of Health We Know podcast. It'd be episode 13.1, I guess it would be. Oof. Wow, crazy. We'll be back with you today or two to preview this upcoming week, the last 2 weeks of the season. We're already in almost Thanksgiving, so that means football's almost over.
College football rankings come out tomorrow.
Because now with the playoff football rankings come out tomorrow, so we'll discuss that at least a little bit on tomorrow or Wednesday, whenever we're going to get the next show uploaded. Otherwise, have a nice evening, day, whenever you're watching this. Don't have a nice day, whatever you want. You don't have to tell me. I ain't going to tell you what to do. Enjoy your day. Don't enjoy your day. Share the show. Share the show, especially share his Texas to Georgia pick. If you could do that, that'd be great. It's on his TikTok. It's on Instagram. All the places you like your content. So we will talk to you soon.